Welcome to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast, aka CTP. I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard, and that's Leonard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and an occasional guest type podcast. Really appreciate you tuning in. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show!
1. I am going to be a little slow, a little deliberate, a little cautious in my words here, my verbiage here, because I'm going to engage in a bit of a cheat here with my show. I'm going to use this same intro, same segue into an episode for 2 weeks in a row. I'm planning on now for June the 28th Saturday monologue and July the 5th Saturday monologue use this same intro, which would be season 2 106. And actually, I'm catching myself now. July will be start of third season. So season 3, 107, episode 107. I've got to remember to get in that swing of things. Remember, I started in June. So I do my seasons based on a full 52 weeks of one full year of Saturday monologues, not a calendar year. I could have cheated and already said, well, 2025 is season 3 starting in January, but I didn't want to do that. So rolling into July of 2025 indeed will be season 3, but that's not what I wanted to talk to you about. Normally, when it comes to holidays, I don't do the holiday thing either before or on the holiday. Usually I wait a week, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, like with Mother's Day last year, a retrospective, and around Mother's Day this year, I reprised last year's Mother's Day retrospective. Well, I'm engaging in that cheat again, as well as this cheat of using this sub-intro into the episodes of planning to replay 2 episodes. On June the 28th, leading into 4th of July, I plan on reprising Season 1, Episode 3, Remembering Freedom and Our Rights Beyond the 4th of July. And Season 3, Episode 107, July the 5th, obviously the day after the 4th of July, I plan on reprising Remembering Freedom and Our Rights Part 2, which was Season 1, Episode 4. For those who may have missed them or may have forgotten them. And I get to be a little lazy, to be honest, not having to record a whole new show. I'm doing this cheat intro that I'm going to use twice for 2 episodes in a row to lead into those. Before I begin the reprise shows, I want to first mention every 4th of July. Well, let me back up. Christmas, right? Around Christmas time, people usually dig up Die Hard again, or we see It's a Wonderful Life on TV over and over and over, like the entire month of December. People rewatch certain things. Well, on 9/11, the week of 9/11, I have certain 9/11 related things that I dig up and rewatch every year during the 9/11 somber remembrance time. It's not an anniversary, certainly not a holiday. Anniversaries, in my mind, are for happy things. So that just like I'm recording this now, Memorial Day just passed because I'm recording this ahead for the end of June and beginning of July. Memorial weekend just passed. It's not a happy holiday. It's not an anniversary like a wedding anniversary is a happy thing. A birthday is the anniversary of someone's birth, generally a happy celebratory thing. Memorial Day is a somber remembrance time. Unlike Veterans Day, when we are celebrating those who had served, or Armed Forces Day, and there is a difference in those holidays, celebrating those who are serving in the military. But the 4th of July is both a happy holiday and a somber remembrance day, as we remember all those who fought and died in our revolution to give us what we've got. But I said that about Christmas time and 9/11 because every 4th of July, I dig up a film called An American Carol. Here is my DVD copy of it that I own the film on DVD, a David Zucker comedy. The guy who brought us Airplane and that, and it has Kevin Farley, Kelsey Grammer, Leslie Nielsen, Trace Atkins, even leftist Dennis Hopper loved the script so much, even though it pokes fun at leftists, because the premise of An American Carol, based on A Christmas Carol, is Kevin Farley plays a Mikey Moron type mockumentary maker and this film was ahead of its time, which is why I rewatch it every year, and I recommend it to people every year, about leftards wanting to cancel the 4th of July. And again, right on cue, here we are again. Oh, Trump's in office. Oh, it's going to be the 250th celebration of America next year. Oh, no, they don't want to celebrate it. We've lost the mobocracy. We never were a mobocracy, you idiots, an ineptocracy or a kleptocracy that you want. We are a constitutionally limited republic and will remain such. But Kevin Farley, Chris's brother, plays a Mikey Moron mockumentary filmmaker who sets about wanting to try to cancel and eliminate the 4th of July holiday. It's hilarious. Dennis Hopper, again, lefty. It makes fun of lefties, but he loved the script so much he wanted to be in the film, and he's a hoot in the film in the courtroom scene. I don't want to give more of a spoiler than that. James Woods, Robert Davi, Jeffrey Aaron, David Alan Grier, also another lefty, but loved the script, and especially the part, calling out the left's, the Democrat Party, the Demo KKK rat slave past in the film. He wanted to be part of it. And of course, conservative John Voight is in it too. So a great cast, a wonderful film. Please, you could find it on YouTube for free, but I recommend buying a copy and watching it every 4th of July. So, without further ado, if you're watching the last week of June, we're making the segue into Remembering Freedom and Our Rights Beyond the 4th of July, reprise of Season 1, Episode 3. If you're watching this cheat intro the first week of July or beyond 2025, the reprise of Season 1, Episode 4, Remembering Freedom and Our Rights, Part 2. Here we go. Thank you. Take care. God bless. Thank you for tuning in.
Hello. Today we are going to talk about Part 2 of Remembering Our Freedoms and Our Rights, and those who fought and still fight some to defend them and preserve them, and how we all need to roar, restore our American Republic, get it back to the Constitution where we belong. The Supreme Court just gave us a few constitutional rulings. However, sadly, a couple of those cases should not have even need to be heard. All right. The Colorado Baker's case from a few years ago should have settled the website case. They did this time, that you cannot be compelled to speak. You cannot be compelled to verbalize or write someone else's message. You cannot be coerced or forced by another citizen or the government, especially. Coerced speech, compelled speech. I wrote on thelibertybeacon.com months ago about that, an article about free speech and yelling fire in a crowded theater. Remember that old farce? That was always a farce and a bad argument. Yelling fire in a crowded theater is not a matter of speech. It's not opinion. It is either fact or fraud. If you yell fire and cause a panic where there is none, you get charged with fraud. That's not a First Amendment issue. You committed a fraud. You incited a riot or incited unrest. Not a riot. That wouldn't be right? But unrest. You caused civil unrest. You can be charged for that. So the yelling fire in a crowded theater was always a stupid argument. Don't make it. Or if you do, you have the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say, on how it isn't applicable there. Opinion is protected. And I wanted to mention that because the Colorado case should have taken care of it. The website case would have been unnecessary. And the other one is the affirmative action case. There was a University of Michigan case years ago that affirmative action was brought up. They made a limited scope ruling because idiot Chief Justice Roberts tries to moderate the court and get limited scope rulings rather than the broader constitutional issues that it is their bleeping job to determine. They failed to do it the last time, so it came up again now, which is ridiculous because there are so many other cases that could be heard, should be heard, need to be heard, but they had to waste their time on these because they didn't do their job the last time. And you can find a Before It's News piece from me at JLenardDetroit there, but I created a shortcut. You could go to tinyurl.com/SCOTUS 2023 rulings. So again, tinyurl.com/SCOTUS 2023 rulings. But today is part 2 of remembering and fighting for our freedoms. There's the key. As Reagan said, freedom is but one generation away from extinction. And this is a constitutionalist politics podcast. Let me show you. I've got the Taking the Rainbow Back shirt on, quoting Genesis and Revelation about the rainbow alphabet mafias fake 6-color rainbow, trying to displace God's true 7-color rainbow and his message to us with it, and the rainbow around the throne. So they are trying to displace and co-opt and corrupt the rainbow. But that's a bit of an aside. You shall be known by your fruits is where I was going with all this. That means you get off your butt. It doesn't mean virtue signal, whine, moan, complain online and think you've done anything. That's not doing anything. You will reap what you sow. But that implies the very fact that you have to sow something in order to reap it. And as the Rush rock group song says, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. Or in this case, you're allowing others to sow what will yield rotten fruit that then we are all stuck eating. That sums a lot up in a nutshell. There is another Before It's News piece, also a companion piece at thelibertybeacon.com. You could go either place. thelibertybeacon.com. I go under the full name Joseph M. Leonard. And again, if you're newly tuning in, it looks like Leonard. It's not French, it's Leonard, but without the O. You could put that in the search field at thelibertybeacon.com and find an older piece there, or at beforeitsnews.com. Will real Christians save America? And by real Christians, I mean, I was born and raised Catholic. Biden, Pelosi are not Catholics. You cannot be for the slaughter, the wholesale slaughter of innocent children in the room, anytime, any place, any reason, by anyone with a coat hanger, and claim you're a Christian, let alone a Catholic or a Protestant or a Methodist or a whatever. Okay, I'm not trying to single out one sect over another, but the Christianity label as a whole. Will real Christians save America? That means known by your fruits. You get off your butt and do things that matter, like becoming a Republican Party delegate so that you fight inside the party. You can't scream, moan, whine at the players on the field and the coaches, scream at the umpires, yell at the cheerleaders, and think anything is getting done. You have to suit up, put on the armor of Christ, and get on the field of battle and fight. Figuratively, of course, we're speaking here, not literally. We're not talking about violence here. So, of course, hello, FBI, if you're watching this, I'm talking figurative fighting in the streets, verbal battle, a battle of ideas. We must restore our American Republic, all that the 4th of July was about. But sadly, no one's willing to fight to keep their freedoms. So many people fought and died for us to have what we have. Yet so many people, like I discuss in Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You book, my book, about how I have my character Martin say, he says, so many people in this nation hate it. The very nation that allows them, affords them everything they have. If you don't like it here, if you want socialism, go over there. Go where your preferred government is. It's a heck hole over there, right? And spare us the bull. Oh, communism, fascism, socialism. They're okay if we do it. We'll do it the right way, like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which I'll be mentioning in a future thelibertybeacon.com piece about let's all go to the lobby, get ourselves some snacks and politics. In that movie, Rocket says about the evil villain, He promised perfection. He just hated things the way they are. There's no such thing as perfect, and no politician is going to be your savior. They need our help. It doesn't matter who you elect. They can't do it by themselves. They need us fighting, figuratively, in the street to help them accomplish the goals we set for them and us. Rocket says that about him. He promised perfection. He just hated things the way they are. He, like every communist, fascist, socialist, any and every tyrant, promises some utopia. No, they just want to be ruler over the imperfection. It's just meet the new boss, same as the old boss, as the Who song would say. But I wanted to talk today about the Nextdoor app. It's just meet the new boss, same as the old boss, as the Who song would say. But I wanted to talk today about the Nextdoor app. There is an app called Nextdoor. I'm sorry, I'm getting a frog in my throat there, so I'm going to pull a Marco Rubio and take a drink. Sorry for that dead air there, but I needed a drink. On Nextdoor, someone was complaining about someone doing fireworks early. Obviously, clearly outside of whatever local, city, county, state ordinances allow for. And I said, I can relate and sympathize to a degree, but they weren't clear. It is entirely possible the fireworks display happening around midnight, which is not much past beyond like the 11 o'clock cutoff most ordinance call for and allow to. It could have been a city display. We have Southgate Heritage Days. I'm in Wyandotte. Wyandotte has fireworks. They go long, they go late. The cities, counties, states, the federal government especially fascocrats, look at Hunter Biden. Rules for you, not for them. Hunter Biden committed a felony gun charge. That gets washed away. But if it were you or me, we'd be locked up forever. So rules for thee, but not for me, is the fascocrats' tyrant motto. All right, regarding these fireworks, no one I know wants anarchy, total anarchy, no rules, no laws, every man, woman, and child for themselves. So that brings us to the need for some government, limited government that most of us believe in and call for. So we must discuss the political spectrum. Another thing the left lies about, twists, distorts. They try to call those of us on the right Nazis or fascists. Well, on the right side of the scale is anarchy. No government whatsoever. That's clearly not fascism. On the left is all those things: communism, fascism, socialism, monarchy, total government. So you have the spectrum: far right, absolutely no government; far left, all consuming and power and control, dictatorial down from the government. That's the left. Fascism is a left spectrum, not a right spectrum of the political spectrum. Anarchy, far right. Our founders originally created the Articles of Confederation, somewhat from the right, but moving left. That didn't quite work, so then we had the convention and moved a little further left from that, but still nowhere near the middle of the spectrum, to the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights. God-given rights. A constitutional republic, not a democracy, a republic that our God-given rights are sovereign to us, and a constitution that limits the power of the government that unfortunately over the last 150 years has been destroyed. And I'll get to human nature in a minute. But there is no difference. Let's talk about that left side of the scale. Communism, fascism, socialism, total control. It's not like the 1930s. The fascists in Germany were fighting the communists in Germany, backed by Russia. Russian communists against German fascists. They were fighting each other. Today, there's really no difference. Communism, fascism, socialism, it's all the same thing now. Times change. They're all only interested in being the ruling elite over the imperfection, as I previously said. What difference is there in a socialist communist nation that directly owns a corporation and the government directly runs the corporation, like happened in Venezuela when the commies took over there? They nationalized the corporations, took over direct control. That's communism and pure socialism, but mainly communism. Fascism is regulation. Oh, we give you the illusion of having a choice. Let's pretend you're free. But guess what? Strings attached. We get to regulate you. We dictate what you can do, but as long as you're following our dictates, you get to still pretend to own and operate that company. How is there any difference there, really, people? Please, the Overton window. If you're old enough and you used to watch Glenn Beck on Fox News, back when he was on Fox News, the Overton window, you've heard of it. For those of you who haven't, the Overton window is regarding the political spectrum and the natural human nature tendency to be lazy, to be complacent, to just kind of go along to get along. So while we focus on our individual pursuit of happiness, there are others who their happiness means they want to lord over you. They seek power and control, and our laziness, our complacency lets them get away with it. So that Overton window moves further and further to the fascist left. Unless we get off our butts and stop it, roar, restore our American republic. The next thing is the fascocrats' articles. Look at the Democrat National Platform today. There are literally 28 planks of the National Socialist Deutschland Arbeiter Party, the Nazi Socies, as Joseph Goebbels coined them, and we shortened it to just Nazis. 28 planks in today's Democrat platform. Don't take my word for it. Trust but verify, as Reagan once said. Correct? Look it up. Not Google. DuckDuckGo. Find an actual copy of the Nazi platform and today's Democrat platform and look at them. Throw in the Communist Manifesto in there too. Because again, I say, there's really no difference between the communists and the fascists, except for one wants to directly own and control, and the other one does it through the power of the barrel of the governmental gun to dictate how you run your company. No real difference there. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Sure, the DNC uses very different language to try to hide and disguise things. Now, the two most obvious ones are gun control. The other, socialized medicine, which has nothing whatsoever to do with your health. It's about power and control and coercion. If the government controls healthcare and Obamacare was a stepping stone, look at the videos. You can still find them. They've said it themselves. Obamacare was a stepping stone. It was meant to fail so they can bring in Medicaid for all. They'll call it Medicare for all. Medicare is an entitlement that you pay into through your paycheck. They're talking Medicaid for all. Complete government funded, government run, government control, where they get to come to you. John Q. Public, we'd really like to help your wife with that cancer diagnosis and get her the cancer drug she needs, but we're going to need some favors. We need you to tone down that anti-government rhetoric, all those things about your rights and you being sovereign and that 10th Amendment thing. You've got to give that stuff up. This is a federal fascist nation now. That's what it's about. Power, control, coercion. And sadly, so many people didn't learn that. But again, yes, today's left, the fascocrats, use different language to disguise what they're talking about. But you can see it all if you study Alinsky, or you study Cloward and Piven. You study Hillary Clinton's own thesis on Saul Alinsky and their praise for Margaret Sanger and eugenics, which socialized medicine leads to euthanasia. You're not with us. Oh, you're too old. We're just going to give you a pill to help you kill yourself rather than the pills you need to cure yourself, which is happening over in Canada. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. It's happening. These are facts, not snowflake feelings. Even though the left refuses to deal in facts and easily evidence, easily confirmable information I've given you here today. Look it up. Put it in front. Print it out. Put it in front of a leftist that you know and watch them hem and haw and probably go to the line, well, we don't really intend to do it that way here. Again, the old line, communism really hasn't been done right. We're better. We're smarter. Our elites will do better than Stalin and Lenin and Putin and Xi. They're no different. Again, it's just all an excuse for their power and control to lord over you. Read Saul Alinsky. Study Cloward and Piven. Articles will be included in here, including the link to the Liberty Beacon piece, Remembering Our Freedoms and Rights, Part 2, as well as a link to Abolitionist Roundtable of Michigan, Wham Radio, Saturdays, 9 a.m. You can go to whamradio.com, hit the Listen Live link, listen all day Saturday. A lot of great shows there. All new material, not reruns like most stations run. Real, live, conservative talk. But I want you to come here, of course, for constitutionalist politics talk. But ART on July the 1st, I was on the show. I was a caller, Joe from Wyandotte, and we discussed some of these related issues, and they discussed these issues beyond my call. So that's worth tuning into that delayed podcast of today's, as I'm recording this actually today, Saturday, July the 1st, today's live show. With that, we're going to end it. I think we've covered, oh, no, actually, I'm sorry. There is indeed one other thing. As I look down at my notes, as I said, this is going to be an unscripted show. But I do have notes, and I wrote down a note, Antifa tactics. What do I mean by that? Why am I questioning that? Why am I bringing them up? The political spectrum. Antifa says they are anti-fascist. That is hilarious. So hilarious. They are literally the Hitlerian brown shirts of the 30s, the El Duce black shirts of Italy 1930s, violence in the street. They are literally out there beating and maiming and burning down cities against those who disagree with their desire to bring a fascistocrat's one-party rule in this nation. And just because they call themselves anti-fascist doesn't mean they are. And just because they may use tactics that are associated with anarchists, which is the farthest right you can go, no government. They're all for government, more government, big government, complete government control with them in charge. Just because they use anarchist tactics doesn't mean the nightly news, as they are wrongly are doing, calling them anarchists. It's all part of the left-wing media, media, as I call them, propaganda and false narratives and spin. Let's pretend Antifa are anarchists when they are, again, like the KKK was, created from the Democrat Party, so too is Antifa, a political, violent arm of the Democrat Party to beat and silence, try to censor when the online cancel culture peacefully doesn't work, and they can't shut you up, they can't shut me up. They want to do it violently. You can see it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. I hope I've been able to put a lot of this all into perspective. Things I think you already knew, something though that we needed to resurface and talk about and spread to others that don't know what's going on. Thank you all for tuning in. As said at the top of the show, 168.9 million plus podcast episodes are out there recorded that you could tune into. Thank you so much for tuning into this one. Take care. God bless. And consider getting a TakeTheRainbowBack.com shirt with the 7-color God's rainbow, not the 6-color co-opted and corrupted rainbow alphabet mafia one with Genesis 9:16 and Revelation 4:3 on it, to say you are going to do that. You are standing up for God's rainbow, not the corrupt version. Also go to savagedarmy.com, get your Roar shirt, Restore Our American Republic. If you're going to go to Target that we're boycotting, maybe not boycott them, but walk around the store, just don't buy anything, with a shirt with a right side message, a Constitutionalist message that we are going to take back this republic. We are going to take back the rainbow. Let people know. Get some pamphlets from Taking the Rainbow Back about what's really at the end of the rainbow pamphlet you can get from Rabbi Schneider, who is a Messianic Jew who started the TakingTheRainbowBack.com, Messianic Jew. So he's part of the Jews for Jesus crew. He's a Messianic Jew. If anyone doesn't know what that is, there's your homework for next week, okay? Go into Target, and where they're selling pedophilia to children clothing, put a pamphlet down. Because Target had been selling gay pride stuff. Other people have been selling gay pride stuff for decades now. It hasn't been an issue until now. They are engaging in grooming and pedophilia. That is a red line. Too far, shall not be crossed, and we must send the message. Take care. God bless.
Stand up for what is right. every day and night. Believes in freedom and making his voice heard, sharing his message over all the earth. God bless you, Joseph, for all you do. Stand strong and God bless you.
In the heart of Wyandotte, he rose from the ashes with a voice like thunder that no one can clash with. Born in the summer of '62, a warrior spirit strong and true, with a pen as his sword and ideas ablaze. In the battle for truth, he's setting the stage. Joseph Leonard, hear the call of the brave, fighting for liberty, our rights to save. From the shadows of doubt, he's lighting the way. With honor and integrity, he'll never sway. In the realm of fiction, he weaves his art, a political thriller that tears you apart. Terror strikes echo, a warning to heed. In a world of chaos, he plants the seed. Cancer came knocking, but he stood tall, a survivor spirit ready to fall. Joseph Leonard, hear the call of the brave, fighting for liberty, our rights to save. From the shadows of doubt, he's lighting the way. With honor and integrity, he'll never sway. Podcasts are rolling, his voice rings clear. In a symphony of truth we gather near. Defending the Constitution, he leads the crowd. In the name of freedom, he stands proud. Raise up your voice, let this anthem ignite. For Joseph Leonard, let's stand and unite.
Thank you for having tuned in for Constitutionalist Politics Show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you. And let me remind, over time, the fancy high production items will come. But for now, for starters, it's just you as a very appreciated listener by me. All substance, no fluff, just straight to key discussion points. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. God bless. Like and subscribe to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast and share episodes. We need your help.